Hey guys, today I'm going to be doing the Percy Jackson book tag in honor of Percy Jackson's birthday. No clue how old he actually is, but this is the day he was born into Rick Riordan's world, so that's cause enough to celebrate. I'm filming this video on the other side of the room today so you can see all of my beautiful Percy Jackson books. And since I'm on the other side of the room, I don't have a computer to look at, and my phone's acting weird after I've dropped it like 12 times in the last couple weeks, so I just wrote all of the questions down. First question is, Camp HalfBlood. Name a book setting in which you would want to train to fight in. If I wanted to fight hand to hand, I would want to go to Dauntless in the Divergent world, because they are ruthless and they will not cut corners, so I'm sure I will learn a whole lot while getting beat to a pulp. For training and everything else, I'd want to go to Camp HalfBlood. Number 2, Percy Jackson. Name a book character that has the fate of the world thrown into their arms. For this one, I've chosen a few characters. We have Michael from the Mortality Doctrine series, then Wendy from the Trill trilogy, and Juliet from the Shatter Me trilogy. Then of course you have the obvious Harry Potter and Percy Jackson. But I picked these three mainly because they do really have the fate of the world just thrown at them, or in Wendy's case, the fate of her world. And for these three characters, it wasn't a prophecy that told them that they had to do what they did. Wendy was kind of born into her problem, but if she wanted to, she could have turned away from it. And as for these two characters, Juliet could have taken the easy road out with Warner, but she decided to do what was right not only for her, but for all of her friends. And really, I cannot tell you why I chose Michael without spoiling the third book, so just go read the trilogy. 3 is Sally Jackson. Name one parent or set of parents that are supportive and caring for their child. I've read so many middle grade and young adult books in the last few years that, truthfully, I have stopped even noticing that the parents aren't there. So it was a big shock when I was going through all these books, and even half the contemporary books didn't have a supportive and caring parent. It's like they would either have like a very neglectful parent or no parents, or they would have guardians, not necessarily parents. But while I was looking through my bookshelves, I saw On Fire by Nancy Holder, and I was like, Teen Wolf, Mama McCall. But then I kind of felt like this was a cheat answer because Mama McCall is like awesome. She's like the perfect mother figure. So I decided to choose another set of parents, and that is the adoptive parents of Mallory in The Problem with Forever. Mallory has been through so much, and there was just a lot of baggage with her, and her adoptive parents are just so supportive of her and so caring. Actually, they get a little bit too overprotective of her at several points, kind of suffocatingly overprotective, but given everything that Mallory had gone through as a child, I can't really blame them. 4, Blackjack. Name your favorite fictional animal sidekick. Well, if I can't say Blackjack, who is by far my favorite animal sidekick, because you can actually talk to him, or at least Percy can, and we can actually hear him and everything, and he's just the sassiest horse alive. But if I can't choose Blackjack, I have to go with Jacob's Hollow, the first one he got. That may seem a bit weird, but this Hollow really grew on me a lot, and I'm kind of heartbroken that we didn't get to learn what happened to him towards the end of the book. I mean, was he just hooked up to that gigantic machine for the rest of his life? Which I'm assuming wouldn't be very long with the way that machine runs. Yes, it may seem very weird, and I would not want a Hollow as a pet because they're so disgusting looking and gross, but just the way this one acted to me was just really cute. And a Hollow's an animal, right? I mean, it acted like an animal, kind of looked like an animal, even though it's technically human. Yeah, I'm counting it regardless of whether Hollow is an actual animal or human monster or whatever. I'm counting it. 5. Blue food. What is your favorite fictional food? And I'm going to be completely honest, I don't really pay attention to what a character is eating unless it is something really bizarre, like the blue food in Percy Jackson or the ambrosia. The only other fictional food that came into my head that is actual fictional food is from the Harry Potter series. And with the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, a lot of that fictional food has become actual food. So even though it's technically not a fictional food, I'm gonna go with butterbeer ice cream. Question 6, the gods. Name your favorite fictional leader or leaders. 2 of my favorites, I'm pretty sure everyone says, is Harry Potter and Percy Jackson, but I do have 3 other favorite fictional leaders. The first one is Thomas from the Maze Runner. And I'm not only saying that because of the events of the Maze Runner trilogy, I'm also saying this because of the prequel. I read The Fever Code and learned exactly how Thomas ended up in the maze in the first place. I think he's a terrific natural-born leader that was kind of put in the situation he was in against his will, but he ended up taking things a lot further than was intended. And since he did all that he did in the Maze Runner series without any memory except his name, that makes him one of my favorite leaders. Then I have Michael from the Mortality Doctrine series again, and I was kind of iffy on whether to add him, but I decided to based on events of the second book. Because of the way the first book ended, you would think that Michael would really just give up on everything and say the hell with this and just get out of the situation he's in. But he ultimately wants to do the right thing. And even after he's accomplished all the stuff he set out to do, he's still working harder than ever at the end of the series to fix a certain wrong that happened. But this wrong is personally important to him, so really it's only going to benefit him and his friends. So ultimately, one of the reasons why I chose him as my favorite leader is because he was okay with leading when he needed to lead, but once he wasn't needed anymore, he was more than happy to just go back to his normal life and be the normal kid that he is. Kind of. And my last favorite leader is Sydney from the Bloodline series. Sydney is just one of those cool, level-headed leaders that has everything thought out and planned to the minute. She's also one of those people you can call to fix the smallest problems. And she really doesn't strive to be a leader. You could even say that she isn't a leader because it's overall a group effort. I still feel like she's at the head of this group, and even though they would do what they're doing even without her, it just seems like they're more organized and they really look up to her, which is a leader. 7. Annabeth and Grover. Name your favorite fictional friend group that is not Percy Jackson or Heroes of Olympus. This was very easy. Harry, Ron, and Hermione are the first group. And I didn't choose them because it's Harry Potter. I chose them because they're constantly having fights throughout the series like normal friends do, even to the point where they don't talk to each other for weeks or months. But then they also have a lot of relationship issues once they get older. My second favorite friend group is the group of Clarisse, Simon, Jace, Izzy, Alec, and Magnus from the Shadowhunter world. For them, I just love the group dynamic, especially when you leave Simon and Jace alone in the room together. 8. The Battle of Manhattan. Which battle had you on the edge of your seat? For this question, I'm only counting final battles, and the final battle that stands out the clearest in my mind that gave me anxiety was the final battle of Ignite Me. Because this is one of the few battles where I wasn't sure if the main character was going to make it or not. 9. Clarisse. Name a character that seemed annoying at first but ended up redeeming themselves. I went with Gally from the Maze Runner series because in this first book he's a complete butthole. And I wouldn't say he 100% redeems himself in the final book, but I really couldn't think of any other character that had annoyed me to the point of wanting to impale him with a spear, and afterwards they redeem themselves. Normally, if I want to impale someone on a spear in the first book, I'm normally wanting to impale them by the end of the series. It takes a lot for a character to redeem themselves if they annoy me to the level that most of them have. Then last but not least, number 10, Rick Riordan. Who is your favorite author of all time? And that would be Rick Riordan. Not only do I laugh in every one of his books, but I have cried in a good majority of them. Whether it was a happy cry, and oh my god, that's so adorable, brings tears to my eyes cry, or I'm dying inside and I just want to curl up in a ball and not speak to anyone for a month cry. Not that I've done that. And I could have said Cassandra Clare too, because her books make me laugh out loud and cry as well. It's just, Rick Riordan's books are a lot more fun to read. Not that Cassandra Clare's books aren't, they just have a certain level of seriousness in them that I would have to actually be in the mood to read them, where Rick Riordan's books, it doesn't matter what mood I'm in, I can read them. This is a really, really old tag. I think it's like 2 or 3 years old, maybe older. So when it comes to tagging people, what I'm going to do is I tag anyone watching this video that owns a Camp HalfBlood t-shirt. And if you guys have done this tag or you decide to do this tag, let me know in the comments below so I can go and watch it. I would love to see some of your answers for these questions. But that is the end of this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye, and happy birthday, Percy!